Well, hello and howdy ho everyone, Foxy Games here, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Full Story Playthrough. In the previous episode, we learned a little bit more history about how the Warriors of Light in the First became Warriors of Light, and the treacherous story that brought them all together. And we will learn more about that in the future. For now, we're back in the Crystarium with our good friend Graha, the Crystal Exarch, and we're going to have a chat. Ah, Foxy, you returned. I hope your time in the source was suitably restful. I'd say so. But of course it wasn't. Go on. He knows us all too well. The corporeal ether shows signs of instability. By the gods, the possibility never even occurred to me. If you have returned in the hope that my research has yielded a solution, I fear you will be sorely disappointed. 'Tis but a mercy we have the likes of Mistress Kryl and Master Matoya to keep our friends' bodies safe while we wrestle with the problem. But they cannot forestall the separation of body and soul indefinitely. Come, the others must be told. We don't want to worry them unduly, but at the same time...
Pray excuse my late arrival.
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed. I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Kryl's findings.
It's gonna be a sad meeting.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected, to my eye at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Kryl is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration. Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage. In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy. The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the First. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality. A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed. Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target. Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it.
Good.
And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
Absolutely not.
Oh! What was that for?
How can you even entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless she says so.
That's right. You fucking tell him.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
What did you just...
Oh my god, you two.
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion?
I love you, Y'shtola.
Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary success. I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of her body and soul, but her personal effects besides. This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us her possessions, she could carry our souls back to the source upon her person?
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change, but vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on her part, and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend. Yet were we to immure our souls within an object in her possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured. White Auracite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose. It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Ascian, and should house one of ours with relative ease. We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back unto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us. On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves. It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after. Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrandt is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.
It's worth a shot, isn't it? I'm sick and tired of the Exarch's attempts at selfless sacrifice, you and me both. If he suggests dying one more time, I swear I'm going to grant him his wish. The Numos seemed such a welcoming folk in Ilmeg. What do you suppose could have driven this one to a life of seclusion? Depression? A mage of surpassing skill, living in a life of seclusion. Nowhere have I heard that before. One can only hope they are more receptive to unsolicited visitations. Hey, don't give Matoya too much shit. She's helping keep your body alive. 'Tis said the kingdom of Verbert was once a home to the realm's greatest knights and magics both. To command a place at the royal court, the Numo whom we seek must needs have been a mage among mages. Well, let's see where we can find this mage. The Grand Cosmos, that is, the palace we seek, stands on the opposite shore of the source. I will arrange for a boat to carry us there. While thou journeyest thither, I think it best that I devote mine energies to the creation of white orosite, by thy leave, of course. The process requireth no small amount of time, and should the Numo consent to lend us their aid, we will have need of a suitable vessel ere long. Agreed. Then I would ask the rest of you to meet me in Sullen, and do be prepared for a warm reception. Oh boy. Coming with us, are you, Graha? Well, alright, Urianger. Pray join the others in Sullen. I shall turn my thoughts to the Orosite, and apprise Thancred and Reen of our progress. Very good. What's the quickest way? I guess to take the gate out of the Crystarium, and then fly over. Ah, looks like Bismarck has returned home. I wonder if Urianger has scrubbed his teeth yet. Ah, here are our friends. He said the palace is on the opposite shore, but I see nothing on the horizon save empty sky. Curious. Yeah, you're right. The Exarch said to prepare for a warm reception at the palace. Let's hope it's more cordial than his last visit. I was relieved to hear the Exarch intended to arrange for a boat to carry us across the lake. Not that I would be opposed to swimming, mind you. Uh-huh. I'm pretty sure you've had your fill of swimming after swimming all the way out of the Tempest. As I told you before, I had scarcely set foot on the palace grounds when I was set upon by our host's familiars, and I expect our reception today to be no different, which is why I propose we march through the main gate, weapons drawn. I'm sorry, but are we not here to petition for assistance? You can't honestly think barging in looking for a fight is going to persuade them. Actually, I believe the Exarch may have the right of it. They have no doubt poured a great deal of time and energy into their creations. Were I them, I should be most interested to meet with those who could overcome my defenses. As would any true seeker of knowledge, and there is little we can say or do to convince them to help us if we know nothing of their character, nor less why they chose to hide themselves from the world. But if we can seize their interest, mayhap we can earn ourselves an audience. Weapons drawn it is, then. Though I must say, Exarch, you certainly seem to be enjoying all of this. Oh, he's so cute. Do I? Well, I would not deny that I enjoy the thought of fighting alongside you all rather than pacing about inside the Crystal Tower. You both seem to be in rather high spirits, if you ask me. Not that I'm surprised, your moods invariably improve when Foxy is around. Oh my god. What exactly are you implying? She averted a calamity, and the light which seemed destined to consume her has been extinguished. 'Tis only natural that we be pleased to see her. Uh-huh. Yes, well, you have plenty of time to celebrate her good health after we've finished here. Of course. Then let us proceed to the palace. Look. Alice, you're a little too young. And my heart already belongs to Graha. So, sorry. I can but imagine what manner of beasts keep guard here. No doubt they will afford a scant opportunity to explore the palace. A pity. I think we've done enough talking, don't you? We have a new mo to impress. Uh-huh. How long has it been since we last went on such an expedition? I cannot help but be reminded of the ruins of Scala. 'Tis good to be here with you for a change. Whatever you would have me do, you need but say the word. Well, of course, if you're going to come with us. Look. Y'shtola, I'm sorry, I love you. But
Very well.
My heart belongs to Graha. Alright, friends. This momentary delay is nothing. Graha, Alphino, Alice, let's do this. Should you value your lives, you will quit this place at once. Now be gone with you. Well, I'd say we're off to a fine start. Well, let's not be discouraged. From ageless sleep I bid thee rise! Let's not disappoint our host. Bring unto them a swift demise. I hate to disappoint you, but dying is not on the list today. Ah, some more armors destroyed. Oh look, it's a sweeping broom. How cute. Reminds me of Matoya. Look how they make a mess of my floors. Swish and flick, my lovelies. Swish and flick. Do these brooms not remind you of Master Matoya? Oh, if only we did bring Y'shtola along. She'd probably have a comment about that, too. Let me guess. Oh, I call forth blades to run them through! The Chivalric Sphere. Brave Knights of Eld, tried and true. We'll put them to the test. If you insist on making a mess of my place, then you leave me no choice. Oh dear, they don't seem yet inclined to talk. Well, it was your idea to brandish blades at the door. Oh boy. Well, maybe a good thrashing will loosen his tongue. I'm going to assume that's a tank buster. Why yes, yes it was. Come, my lovelies, there is filth that wants for cleaning. Oh boy, I'm not paying attention. Alright, there are brooms. I still don't know how to dodge the brooms. After all the time playing this dungeon, I've never quite figured that out. Okay. And you know what? I'll just do what I always do when I don't understand something. I'll follow the NPCs.
If I must.
Oh. You know, I say I'll do these things, and then I don't do them, and I wonder why the hell I fail. Oh well, one Vuln stack isn't gonna kill me. That tank buster really hurts. Like more than most. Such pernicious stains you are. No matter. So really all I need to do is stay away from the stains. Alpha, no, you better be healing. Like, fast. Ugh, insufferable, a lot of you. I will spare you, but only this once. Now leave me be. I doubt they'll be quite so affable when next we meet. Another chance to pick the curiosity, then. You know, I suck ass at that fight, and I won't even pretend that I don't. But at least I got it mostly down. It's the damn Bruins. I don't know why. It's probably the simplest thing ever, but it throws me for a loop every time. Still you press onward? How foolish. Her Grace's gardens, as beautiful as ever. With wings of dreams I bar thy path. What even are these? Oh, they're Porxies. You know, not to dwell on the matter now that it's resolved, but I gotta tell you, I was terrified that I was going to have to go through hoop after hoop after hoop to get this to work again. Like, as soon as I got that error, my heart sank like shit. I'm not gonna be able to play Endwalker when it launches because problems. But thankfully that turned out to not be the case. It's knocking on wood right now, but God, I want to be able to play it. And I want to be able to bring this series to you guys before Endwalker launches. Like, that's my goal. Well, I won't have it edited by the time Endwalker launches. That's logistically impossible. But because it's like there's like 9 days left, but I want to have this recorded by the time Endwalker launches, so that way I will be able to edit that in my downtime and focus all my actual gameplay on Endwalker and bring you guys a reaction video and stuff. I do plan on streaming it too, but you guys will have already seen that. Yeah, assuming you watch me on Twitch, which I rarely use, because I'm not much of a streamer. Hell, I'm barely even a YouTuber, to be honest. Ow! I'm glad that wasn't one of the instant kill types. There are bombs in some earlier dungeons that will instantly kill you. Hold them fast with thorn and vine! Come here. Let's not ignore the treasure coffers. They may actually have gear that's better than what I've got. A choker offending. Well, it's shit, but it could have been something better. Hello, Porxies. To death's embrace their souls consign. Alright, you don't have to be a poet about it. What, are you gonna write it in your live journal too? Oh right, your name isn't Sylvanas Windrunner. Life is pain. I will never serve. Hey Blizzard, maybe take writing examples from this game. Maybe your game would actually be somewhat playable then. Can you believe there are people who still fucking fanboy about Sylvanas despite the fact that she committed literal genocide? Like, on the one hand, I don't believe that people's opinions of fictional characters at all determines what they're like in real life. But at the same time, doesn't it also, like, kind of reveal... Oh, hold on. Lean and Seath! These cretins have sullied the sanctity of your garden. They must be dealt with. Is there no end to these creatures? If they think a few plants can slow us down, they're sorely mistaken. Right, you are, Alice. But, anyway. Isn't it kind of telling, like, most Horde players would be okay with actual genocide? Come on then, little ones, let me show you the delights of my garden. I don't know, just something that I think about, but then again, that's because most Horde players are fucking trash, and that is a hill I will absolutely die on. I don't know if that's a tank buster. And I don't mean trash at the game, I mean trash people. God, I need to stop talking shit. Right. I'll just follow your lead, Alpha now. Like, I know what to do, I just forget which direction the wind's gonna blow in. Basically, she'll put down these seeds. And then the wind will blow. You need to make sure that the seeds don't wind up on the green parts. Oh yeah, here comes the next seedling phase. Oh, okay, that's the way it's gonna go. So you drop it right here. I hope. It's not gonna go all the way, is it? Nope, it just went one way. Very good. So we don't have to deal with any plants, because they all die. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. Hey, look, I can call other people trash while being trash myself, okay? And like I said, I didn't mean trash at the game, I meant trash people.
Leave the healing to me.
That boss isn't nearly as shitty as the first one. Alright. I shall bloom again. If we dried these leaves, perhaps we could use them for tea. Why are you like this? You see, this is... I didn't get any good gear. This is why I like doing the Trust, because you get this character dialogue that's just gold. The garden is ruined! Ruined! Mark my words, you will pay for this! I summoned thee from flesh of stone! Your garden is fine, all I did was kill its tender. And considering it's a familiar, you could probably just resurrect it. The Fae, they're so dramatic. Well, let's go this way. Why not? Even the brooms are happy. With wings of dreams to grind their bones! fucking porksies. Still nothing I can use. Why do you persist? Why will you not leave me be? Be welcome, madam. Ghosts? Oh, come now, Alphino. Don't be silly. Oh, Alphino. They're so friendly. Knights immortal, heed my call! Seize the intruders who besmirch thy hall! And by king's judgment see them fall! Down goes the king, and down goes his knight. What is in store for us beyond? More ghosts. I see you cannot be dissuaded from your misguided path. A pity. Ah, Alphino behind you! Haha, very funny. I know they're not ghosts. At least I hope they're not. Oh my god, Alphino. This is another boss I'm not very good at. You have sullied these halls long enough. Come, Lugus! Our guests yet want for company. That's not a Numo I've ever seen. It looks more like an Illithid. The insatiable flame, Lugus. Anything to say, friends? I do believe we have not only their curiosity but their attention as well. I say so. Well, let's not disappoint them. Go, Lugus, turn them to ash. I care not how. Holy fuck, I'm lagging. Well, there's not much I can do, to be honest. Alright, now that it seems to be done lagging, when you get blue flames, you have to drop them on the furniture, which is terribly mean, to be honest. But then again, this thing is trying to kill us. Oh yes, and you want to spread out for this attack.
If I must.
Yes, Graha, you must, actually. Don't argue with me, cat husband. Oh, I shouldn't have pointed it at the curtains, though. I'm assuming that's the tank buster. You know, I will say, I am pleasantly surprised at the fact that I wasn't dead when I stopped lagging. So, kudos to Alphino for keeping me alive. Let's burn the sofa. Oh, I burnt... Oh, Alice burnt one, too. Well, I will say, I would have done considerably better had I not lagged. And yes, I am blaming that. Because that was actually mostly just fine. And down it goes. So, are you ready to talk now? We'd best leave the negotiations to Alphino and the Exarch. Yeah, I agree. Phew. I am glad for that to be done and over with. Now that I have little choice but to hear our plea. Y'shtola, nothing to say.
That was my fiercest familiar. Oh, impressive.
Now that's the kind of no-mo we're used to seeing. Well, you have the floor, Graha.
Beckloak, 'tis good to see you again after all these years. And judging by your vigorous greeting, I dare say the feeling is mutual. To be sure, a simple shake of the hand would have sufficed by way of welcome, but I shan't complain. But you must be wondering as to the purpose of our visit. We come to beg your assistance in a most urgent matter.
Shake? Beg?
Our comrades' very souls are in danger. If we are to save them, we will need the benefit of your unsurpassed knowledge on the matter. Please, will you not sit and hear our plea?
Oh, how dare you! How dare you speak thus in my presence! It was to escape such words of temptation that I hid myself from the world of men. You are sinners, one and all, and I swore never again to have any part in your affairs.
I can only imagine what terrible events forced you into a life of seclusion. But I know that the Numo are a good and noble folk. It is not in your nature to turn a blind eye to the plight of those around you. And in treating with us, I am certain whatever mistrust you feel for man will begin to heal.
You guys are so mean.
If you will not be satisfied, I suppose I could listen. After all, there's no harm in just... No, I mustn't. Not again. That damn court mage seemed to have the best of intentions too, and countless innocents died for my naivety.
I love Becklug's voice, by the way. It's so cute.
Oh, you know not what you ask of me. What horrors my knowledge has wrought.
Refuse all you want. We won't lie down except defeat. Or we wouldn't mismuse it. Or do you mean the magical plague of Verbert?
You know of the plague?
Thanks to our roll quest. One of them, anyway.
Then you know how dangerous soulcraft can be. Instead of saving your friends, you risk damning them. Are you sure you're willing to take that chance?
Well, they're kind of damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Oh. No. Oh. Very well. I will hear your petition, but that is all. And I expect fitting payment for my troubles.
Commensurate with your contribution to our cause. No more and no less, I promise you. With that settled, might I impose upon you to join us at the Crystarium? I'm afraid the nature of my friend's predicament calls for absolute secrecy.
Well, it took some doing, both technically and in-game, but we did it. There you are. You guys have gone on ahead to the Crystal Tower with Beck Lug. For the record, I truly wish we hadn't had to resort to using such words when treating with them. I have ever sought to convince, not compel, yet I cannot deny that a part of me is glad Ryanje shared his knowledge of the Numo with us. Had he not, Beck Lug wouldn't be here. Speaking of whom, we should hurry. To keep our guest waiting would only add insult to injury. I don't know. I think we probably could have led without the words of power. And now we can go trusting with fucking Grand Cosmos, whatever. Not that I ever planned to do that again. We mustn't dally here any longer, Foxy. If Becklug is to hear the truth of our travails in the First, you of all people should be present. Oh, I'm sure glad to be past that. Not that I hate the dungeon, it's just, well, I thought it was going to take a lot more to get it to work. What is this? Oh, apparently I got a decoration and a Zand card from earlier, which I already have. I have been playing Triple Triad on and off. I don't know if I've mentioned that. Also, I've got a whole bunch of quests to do. God damn, look at all that. Okay, so I checked out some of those quests, and we will definitely be doing one of them in the next couple of episodes, maybe even the next episode. Not sure. Whatever next episode that we do the main scenario quest.
I'm sorry. You mean to tell me not only that the return of night was your doing, but that you hail from another world as well?
Everything we told you, of the source, the shards, the 7 umbral calamities, all of it is true. I realize how fantastical it sounds, and I would not blame you for doubting our testimony. But given your expertise, you must surely have noted the peculiar nature of their souls.
Any other time and I would have dismissed your stories as balderdash and flummery. But upon closer inspection, 'tis plain their souls are far denser than is normal, and that they do not possess true bodies. Save you. Your body is your own, and your soul is the densest of them all.
Ah, yes, because we have merged with Ardbert.
As I said before, were it not for their heroism, the skies over Norvrandt would still be awash with light. the realm yet at the mercy of 4-3 and the Sin Eaters. After all they have done for our home, seeing them safely back to their own seems the very least we can do.
Your tale is intriguing. Yes, very intriguing indeed. Simply to hear it is fitting payment in itself.
Well, it seems we have their attention.
As for your friends, I can but agree. Their valorous deeds on behalf of Norvrandt are deserving of recognition, of their own fitting payment.
You will help us then?
I will. I would see my knowledge put to good use for a change. I do have one condition, however. I am not the spry young Numo I once was. As such, I will require assistance in my fieldwork and testing.
It would be our pleasure. We'll be laboring for our own benefit after all.
Everything is back in motion again. Lovely to see. Let's have a chat with everyone. Becklug has a fine eye. Though we have yet to begin, I rather think the Exarch was right to call on them. I'd say so. I sometimes forget we're not truly here in the first. It'll be good to be whole again. I mean, I just noticed my game seems to be running way smoother than usual. Why is that? Maybe the reinstall did it some good. Did you happen to notice the magic brooms strewn about the Grand Cosmos? Uncanny. Yeah, Alphino pointed that out too. Fortunately for us, Becklug is of a mind to see you and your fellow Scions justly compensated for your efforts. That's good to hear. You have spun quite a tale, but tell me, have you given any thought as to how you might return to your world? White Orosite, you say? An intriguing proposition, but one which fails to account for the present state of your souls. They have become highly charged, likely as a consequence of having maintained tangible forms for so long. In such an energetic, unstable state, there is no telling what may happen to their souls within the Orosite. They could very well become immutable to transference, never to be restored to their bodies. Then, would it be possible to force our souls into a state of dormancy prior to transference? In theory, yes, but the soul is not a candle to be snuffed out and relit on a whim. Well, that sounds ominous. What exactly would rendering our souls dormant entail? In order to maintain a corporeal form, your souls constantly draw ether from your surroundings. This process must be halted, and the resulting surfeit of ether removed. Your minds would ultimately be separated from these faux bodies of yours, rendering you incapable of interacting with the world around you. A cruel fate under normal circumstances, but one which will be rectified upon your return home. Leaving lifeless husks, like those poor souls at the inn at Journey's Head, corrupted by the Sin Eaters, their ether made stagnant by the light. Corrupted? Stagnant? Might I see these unfortunate individuals? Why? Do you think you might be able to help them? I might, or I might not, but I shan't know for sure until I have seen their condition firsthand. Then I'd be glad to take you to them, on the understanding that you won't do anything which might increase their suffering. It was my faith in man I lost, not my compassion. Well, I see no need for all of us to accompany you. While you escort our guest to the inn, I will assist Oriange in creating the requisite auracite. I believe my talents would be better applied to that endeavor as well. Might I leave the three of you to assist Backlug as necessary? Let us make for Amarang, then. Alright. It pains me that there are those who yet suffer despite our victory over the light. We must hope for a way can be found to help both them and our friends. Oriange is more than capable of creating the auracite on his own, but if aught should go awry, I would be on hand to assist him. What do you think, something's gonna explode? Doubtful, but you never know. Having broken Light's stranglehold on the first, I would like to believe they will one day recover, yet I fear that day may not come soon. Halric. He's sitting at his table as usual. Backlug told me they wish to meet the worst afflicted, Halric. There are times when I swear there's something he wants to tell me, if only he could form the words. He can barely talk as it is. So this is Halric, is it? Yes, his etheric balance leans perilously toward the light. Toward stasis. What do you suppose will happen to him? Not too bright, are you, boy? The same as all poor souls corrupted by the light. He will become a sin-eater. You don't know that. We've defeated the Wardens and banished the light from the night sky. Halric was completely unresponsive before, but now... And perhaps there is yet hope. If I may, there is a treatment I wish to administer to the patients. What sort of treatment? In the course of my studies of the soul, I once created a tonic which could temporarily stimulate the ether in one's body. After some refinement, it came to be used by the Knights of Vobert. Then for far darker purposes. Lest it fall into the wrong hands, I swore never again to make it, but for their sakes, I will break that oath. It is not like to reverse the stagnation, mind you, but it should offer some measure of relief. Come, let us see what effect my tonic will have on their ether, if any. Okay, I guess we're testing it on these guys, the least afflicted first. The Soul Tonic. This potent tonic, invented by Backlug during the time of Vobert, is said to revitalize the soul both figuratively and literally. Totten stares blankly at you. It would seem the tonic has had no effect. Well, that's not good. Pawnil? What is this warmth I feel in my chest? Well, Pawnil seems to have reacted well to it. Voin? I feel warm, and my legs, they don't feel as heavy. Wow. A couple of them actually seem to have been taken benefit from it. Now then, have you noted any change in the patients? A notable rise in body temperature and increased motor function, in most of the patients at least. The more severely afflicted show no response. As I feared then. 'Tis true that with the restoration of night, the corrupting influence of light will no longer grow, and yes, their bodies will naturally return to equilibrium given time. But this holds true only for their corporeal ether. Their incorporeal ether, that of the soul, is not so easily mended. Which is why those in the later stages of corruption, like Halric, appear unaffected by your tonic. Precisely. The boy's soul is too far gone, his mind held together by the finest of threads. There is a chance he may one day recover, of course, but it could take years, decades even. By the gods, he could wait to find himself an old man. A fine reward for his persistence. The opportunity to mourn the life he never had a chance to live. No, there must be something we can do. Look, I realize this is not why we petitioned your aid, but do you think it possible we can find another way to hasten the recovery? Maybe. Nor do I think it impossible that in treating them we might learn something of relevance to your own predicament. Well, there may be hope yet. Did they just say what I think they said? Might there really be a way to help Halric and the others, and help ourselves in the process? Well, it all comes down to nature of the soul, so... Corporeal, incorporeal ether. I confess, I had never had the cause to make the distinction. I suspect the Crystal Exarch has told you of my past, that I was once a mage of the royal court of Vobert, and that soulcraft was my field of study. The tonic you administered to the patients here is one of the fruits of my labors. I hope to do great things for the kingdom. But in the end, my knowledge brought only suffering, a plague the like of which none had ever seen. In the hands of unscrupulous men, what should have been my greatest triumph instead became my greatest shame. You mustn't dwell on the past. And now you have a chance to redeem yourself, or at least the Warriors of Light brought those responsible to justice. That's kind of relevant to what we've learned, but it doesn't really help us. Let's say this. That I do. A comforting thought indeed. But let us return to the task at hand, finding a means by which we might revitalize these people's incorporeal ether. Do you think it can be done? Were the skies still ablaze with primordial light, I would call it an exercise in futility. But now we may have a chance. The method I have in mind will entail the conjuring of a familiar. They are able to amplify the energies poured into them, making them the perfect conduit for the ether-revitalizing magics we will ultimately employ. If you're about to launch into a lengthy explanation of the metaphysics of your plan, don't bother. I'd rather get on with doing whatever it is that needs to be done, if it's all the same to you. Whatever reagents must be procured or spells invoked, I'll do it. I admire your spirit. Very well. Your first task will be to gather the necessary materials. The purest of waters and finest of clays, as well as a fey lantern brimming with pixie magic. If you're convinced the resulting familiar could help the patients, fine. Now for now, the water and clay will be simple enough, but I think you know what we'll have to do to get the lantern. You don't mean... The pixies took quite a liking to us before. If we humor them with our company, I'm sure they'll be willing to help us. Fine, we'll pay a visit to Ilmeg. Though I never thought you would be the one to suggest going back there. I'm impressed you've been there at all, let alone befriended the Fey folk. Oh, while you're about it, seek out the Numo of Plaeni. they will be able to supply you with water suitable for our needs. Right, let's get this over with, shall we? There still remains the matter of the clay. Might I prevail upon you to find it? Well, this is kind of a familiar thing, isn't it? We've already made a familiar before in a little side quest for the Amaro. Clay from Amarang would likely be best. Know you of anyone who might be able to assist us? I could ask the miners at Twine. Ah, yes, they will be able to point you in the right direction, I am sure. While you and the twins are occupied, I will see if there is aught else I can learn of the stagnation which afflicts the people here. Somehow I don't think that the merchants will necessarily have clay. I mean, why would you trade clay in a place where it can easily be made? Flying over here was completely pointless. Hey, friends. Sometimes I wish we'd never got that trolley running again. Now Jarek wants more of the bloody things and refuses to shut up about it. Of course he does. I can't stop thinking about that giant Talos we built. Can you imagine what it could do with a magic trolley? It feels like a waste not to build one. Oh my god, what is this guy in trolleys? Foxy! Well, what a coincidence. You've come at a good time. We've just this moment finished repairing the Talos and trolley you lot took to Onabatha. The trolley was no trouble, but the Talos would have been another matter had we not had a visit from Master Chai. He offered us a share of the leftover building materials from Daedalus Stoneworks, as well as a few trade secrets to help us along. Clever man, that Chai does. He seemed pretty keen on the ideas I had for putting the giant Talos to work. Like a giant trolley, but Magnus still refuses to see all the good we could do with it. You're entitled to your dreams, Jarek, but that doesn't mean you can go harassing our guests with them. Master Chai was just being polite. And something tells me Foxy here didn't come all this way to talk about trolleys. What is it you need, friend? Just some clay. I see. And this familiar requires clay from Amarang. Well, look no further. If anyone can find you some quality clay, it's us. Saying that, it isn't exactly a commodity nowadays, but there must be some lurking somewhere or another, waiting to be dug up. If I'm not mistaken, there was a time when they used to take clay from the Mount Buren mines to make adobe bricks. Place is swarming with coyotes now, but if you're after the good stuff, you could do worse than to look there. Staying off the bottle, Magnus? Stay safe out there, and remember, you don't need an excuse to come and visit us. True, you guys are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, but you sure helped us a whole lot. Ooh, there's a big old dust storm. I really love the aesthetic of the dust storms, and the draw distance in this game really helps that aesthetic. Especially in places like Thanalan, where you've got the huge spires of corrupted ether in places that you could see just glowing faintly in the distance. I'm sure I've gushed over that before in this playthrough, but it can't be overstated how beautiful this game is. Alright, a little bit of clay here. I don't know why I picked my chocobo over my lanner, but we can't leave Ludos alone. Oh, good. Coyote is mayoed. Speaking of Ludos, he can come out to play. Ah, we've got help from a red mage. Oh, and we'll help her with hers, assuming we don't have another one here to fight. Nope, we don't. Here we go. The pixies were constantly confusing me with Alice. In jest, I assume. I mean, it's not as if we look that much alike. We, don't look that much alike, do we? You are twins. I mean, plenty of people mistake you for one another. I'm pretty sure Kai Shear did, too. That had better be the only thing we need from the pixies. If I have to endure one more prank, so help me gods. The twins have returned, and in one piece at that. I was convinced the pixies would turn at least one of them into a garden ornament, but no. You have the clay, I take it. We sure do. A finely grained soil material found in our ring. Wonderful. We need but combine the clay and the water, then heat the mixture with the Fey Lantern. After that, it will be a simple matter of settling upon a suitable form and performing the necessary incantation. Becklug, I have a question. In the event that we have need of this spell and you weren't around, would it be possible for another to perform the incantation? Assuming they possess the requisite skill, yes. Halric and the others have suffered so much, and I swore to do everything in my power to save them. If there is a chance this spell could do that, I would be the one to invoke it. Mayhap you should be the one to do so. A deep understanding of the subject's physical state, combined with a strong desire to help them, can drastically increase the magic's effect, and you are plainly more familiar with these people than I. I dare say there are few in all of Norvrandt more dedicated to finding a cure. Is that not so, Foxy? I'd say so. Absolutely, she's the best woman for the job. Or, very few, but if aught should go awry, I'll see what I can do. No, we have faith in Alice. I'll give it my all. For Halric. For Tesleen. Then we are all of a mind on the matter. Alice shall be the one to conjure the familiar.
Let us begin.
Yeah, I can't make Becklug's voice when I'm reading, so forgive me for that.
I trust you've prepared the clay? Very good. Now, I would have you sculpt for me a porksy. Plump, with floppy ears and a short curly tail.
A porksy. I think I know what you mean.
I mean, we only killed a dozen of them in the Grand Cosmos. Show us that artistic talent, Alice.
There we are. How's that?
Oh.
Well, it is certainly creative. There's no denying that.
Yes, I'm no artist. Very funny.
Pay him no mind, child. Though it may look like a grotesque parody of reality, it is what the invoker believes that matters.
True. I guess it's all about symbolism. At least I hope so for this poor Porksy's sake. To come out looking like that, if they have any sentience at all, it would probably want to die immediately.
You're not helping.
But I speak the truth. If successful, this incantation will turn imagination into reality. Which is why the only thing of import is what you believe this figure embodies. You must focus. Hold the Porksy's image steady in your mind's eye. Now then, as I taught you, relax and allow your energies to flow.
With flesh of clay I bid thee rise, on wings of dreams to touch the skies. What once was idle fantasy, I call forth to reality.
Not bad for a first attempt. Now, let us see what can be done for young Halric. Through the operation of the magics you invoked to animate this familiar, it is now replete with the energies required to stir the boy's soul. You need but give it a name, and it will do as your heart desires.
A name. All right, I've decided. Now. Go, Angelo!
A reference to the Angelo from Final Fantasy VIII, Rinoa's dog, as it were.
Mother, I...
Some little bit of him broke through. The girl's resolve is quite impressive. One might almost think she drew strength from another. Oh, she does. Tesleen might not be here anymore, but she certainly draws from her. By the 12, though it was for only a moment, he spoke. There may yet be hope for these people. But the... How is he, Becklog? Did it work? I believe it did. You and your fledgling familiar have done well. If my eyes do not deceive, a hint of color has returned to his soul. Gods, I would jump for joy if I weren't so exhausted. We're so close now, Halric. As you are even now in the process of discovering, this magic asks much of the invoker. What you may not have realized is that the same is also true of the subject. As such, we must proceed with caution. However, with further treatment, I have the utmost confidence the boy will make a full recovery. Observing the reanimation of his stagnant soul has been most enlightening. I will need time to put my theories to the proof, but I believe I can fashion a spell to produce the opposite effect, that is, to induce stagnation, thus enabling our safe transport back to the soul via Auracite. A thought occurred to me about this treatment. Beckluk said that when the soul is rendered dormant, the mind is separated from the body, that a person becomes incapable of interacting with the world around them. Does that not sound a lot like some of the tempered back in the source? Not really. It is the fate of most tempered to become slaves to the primals, save in a handful of cases. Or am I missing something? If I can master this technique, the art of revitalizing the soul, I know of at least one in the source who could desperately use such treatment. Gaboo. Exactly. His condition is uncannily similar to Helric's, is it not? The only difference being that his soul was suffused with earth-aspected ether instead of light. It follows that if his soul is subject to a similar kind of stagnation, there may be a chance that we can save him, right? Forgive me, but who is this Gaboo fellow of whom you speak? I see. His condition does sound similar, yet there is much and more about the soul that remains unknown even to me. I say this not to discourage you, you understand, but to remind you that this is delicate work we do here, work requiring patience. Of course, and as long as there is hope for the patients here, I will devote whatever time is needed to see this through. But I refuse to spend that time in idleness. If it's all the same to you, I'd like to stay here with Angelo and continue with their treatment. The two of you should return to the Crystarium with Becklug and see if you can't make some headway with their newly postulated theories. I would tell you to rest first, but I see you're not to be convinced. Ah, the fire of youth. Let us return to the Crystarium, then. Finally, I've found you. Who's saying this? Oh, it's Kaishir. Kaishir? What are you doing all the way out here? There's trouble back in Yulmore. Lady Chai's beside herself, sighing, pacing the whole lot. Near enough begged me to go and find you. Sighing and pacing, you say? It must be urgent. I take it I will be returning to the Crystarium alone. Go on, then. It's not as if I have anything for you to do. Thank you, Becklug. Sorry for bothering you and all that, but she says the future of Yulmore is at stake. Oh dear. Just when we thought we'd figured things out over there. Alice? The future of Yulmore is at stake, is it? Well, do for them what you can, but keep an eye on Alphino, would you? See to it he doesn't involve himself more than is necessary. Yeah. Nothing new to say, Halric. Whatever could be so urgent that for Lady Chai to summon us thus? I don't know, Lady Chai is a bit dramatic. Lady Chai's up in the parlor. Best not keep her waiting, eh? I mean, it could be anything. Anything new from you guys? No, you're just mumbling. The warmth in my chest. It's spreading. Can feel it in my hands. Oh, he's feeling a lot better. What about... wasn't there a third? Over here? Or can we not speak with them? Doesn't seem we can speak with them. Alright. Back to Yulmore we go, then. To see what's wrong with Lady Chai. It was the folks over at the Crystarium that told me you'd be down at Journey's Head. And lucky for me, you still were, running around after people's tiring work. How do you think I feel? Well, not here seems out of the ordinary, though I do not see Lady Chai anywhere. Probably pacing around outside again, staring off into the distance and all that, sighing. Strange. Let's see if we can find her and discover the source of her distress. Oh yes, and as I said in an earlier episode, over here is where you now get your tombstone gear, particularly this guy. No, not this guy. This guy here. He will give you stuff for your tombstones of allegory, your tombstones of revelation. As a matter of fact, I have enough allegory tombstones for something, I believe. So let's find out. I already have the Crystarium kite shield. No, I'm just short. I already have the belt. So, we're not going to worry about gear right now. Ah, there's our lovely Dulia. What is so wrong that you are pacing about and sighing? Or are you just admiring the beautiful night sky that we've gifted you? You can even see Mount Gulg from here.
You're here.
Lady Chai, whatever is the matter?
I knew not where else to turn. Oh, this is all too much for my poor heart to bear alone.
Alone? What of Master Chai?
But that is the very reason I summoned you. He's gone.
What? What happened?
It all began after the events at Mount Gulg. With Lord Vorthry out of the way, we all agreed that a new leader must be chosen.
And so you held an election?
Yes, well, sort of. Not a single person volunteered to stand, you see. After a lifetime of leisure, we free citizens have grown somewhat indolent. Readapting to the harsh realities of life is trying enough, but to take charge of a broken city as well? No one wanted such responsibility. Nevertheless, Yulmore could not well do without a leader, and so we decided that anyone and everyone should be considered a candidate. And after we cast our ballots and tallied the votes, the mayorship fell upon my dear husband.
Well, given the manner in which he orchestrated the construction of the giant Talos, none could deny his leadership qualities.
But even before then, he had proven himself at Daedalus Stoneworks, don't forget. He is more than qualified for the role. The perfect choice. Indeed. I told him as much when his victory was first announced. But perhaps I was too forceful in my attempt to encourage him. For shortly after that, he vanished without a word.
You believe he was so daunted by the burden of leadership that he felt compelled to flee? Please, Lady Chai, dry your eyes. Your husband does not strike me as the sort of man who would abandon his duty, much less his beloved wife. There has to be some other reason for his absence.
You truly think so? What about you? What do you think has become of my husband?
He's far too devoted to abandon you. Sorry, but I think he's fled. Oh no. We couldn't. I don't know, but whatever it is, he won't have fled. He's far too devoted.
And there you have it, Lady Chai. You needn't worry. Master Chai loves you more than all the world, and he will return. Wherever he may have gone, rest assured we will find him.
Thank you, my dear boy. You have set my mind at ease. I will trust in my husband and await his return.
Well, at least that's put her at ease. Where are you, Alphino? Ah. You know, you're almost nothing like I thought it'd be, but somehow I can't picture going anywhere else. The Chais are part of it, I suppose. They've been good to me. I only wish there was something more I could do to help them. Well, just remember, Kaishir, this Yulmore is not the Yulmore you were trying to get into. It's way better. It makes no sense for Master Chai to have left without a word, but even if he had, he would not have done so unobserved. Someone here will have seen something, I'm sure of it. We should split up and inquire as to whether anyone saw him leave, or, failing that, if they have any idea where he might have gone. I will meet you at the Glory Gate to compare notes later on. That's using the old noodle, Alphino. We'll find him. But we're going to have to do that in the next episode. We have definitely gone on just long enough, and we've still got a whole half of this patch's worth of quests to do, plus a dungeon afterward, so we're going to save the rest of it for the next episode. So, my name is Foxy Games. Until the next time, you all take care of yourselves. See you then. Bye.